It looks like Avengers 5 is going to be way bigger than a lot of us thought that it was going to be. In fact, it sounds like this isn't going to be like any other Avengers movie that we've really seen before, with the exception kind of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, but it's not just going to be like a regular Avengers film. This is indeed going to be more like Infinity War than it's going to be like a regular ensemble film. For example, they're not going to be just 6, 7, 8 heroes. They're going to be possibly over 60. At least that's what this new report is telling us. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding Avengers 5. However, we have some brand new details that are definitely going to get you excited. And today they are coming from an official source, Deadline. Now, you might have already heard one part of this report that states that Shawn Levy is Marvel Studios' top choice right now for the director of Avengers 5, which would be absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be pretty epic, and I've really loved a lot of Shawn Levy's work in the past, especially his past few movies, The Atom Project and Free Guy, in which Free Guy did have Marvel and Star Wars references, and they were done very, very well. So I have no doubt that he's going to crush it as director for Deadpool and Wolverine, especially with what we've seen already, so I have no doubt that he would crush it with Avengers 5. According to Deadline, writer Michael Waldron, who is helming Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. He was also the writer for Loki Season 1 and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. According to Deadline, he gave Shawn Levy the script for Avengers 5, and he's reading it right now. According to Deadline, they are not sure if he's said yes yet, or if he will say yes at all, of course, but he is Marvel Studios' top choice. He does have the script right now. They want him as the director for the film, but let me know what you think. Would you like Shawn Levy to direct Avengers 5? I think he'd be a great choice, but let me know your thoughts. Now, the next part of this report is rather insane in a really good way. And what it says is going to happen, I believe, is exactly what Marvel Studios needs right now for the MCU. One paragraph of the article reads, "Even with no director set and the script only recently coming in, Marvel has been working hard in recent months to pull this together so shooting can begin next year on one of Marvel's largest productions to date." So right away, already really good news. They're going bigger, a large production. This is going to be a big Avengers film, but they continue to say sources close to both the project say more than 60 MCU characters could reprise their roles, including everyone from Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, and Benedict Cumberbatch to Tom Hiddleston, Simu Liu, and Karen Gillan. Unlike the first 4 films in which there was a core group that consisted of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Hemsworth, and Ruffalo, many of the characters in this film would have equal footing, making it more of an ensemble feature instead of a handful of characters leading them. So right away, the scale of the next Avengers movie is already insanely big, and it's bigger already than just simply a normal Avengers movie. We're talking about the first Avengers film, although history-wise and nostalgia-wise, I don't think many things will be bigger than that first movie, but as far as ensemble-wise, bigger than that, bigger than Age of Ultron. This sounds like it's an Avengers Endgame level film. 60 plus characters, that is a ton of different characters, but I think it's actually necessary going into Avengers Secret Wars, especially if we're going to show a lot of different universes and many different variants of Kang. And they do briefly mention Kang, we'll talk about that in just a bit, but I love that they're doing this because like I said, I think this is what the MCU needs right now. I do think it's what the film needs, but I think going so big is going to give a lot of fans a lot of hope and make them more excited than they've ever been before. Along with a lot of fans, I myself have really enjoyed the MCU up until this point that we are at right now. Yes, there were some projects that I didn't like that much, or some not as much as the others, but overall, I have still really enjoyed and I still very much love the MCU, of course, obviously. However, I do admit that it doesn't feel as big as it did before, and we don't feel those connections like we did before as well. So I think that if Avengers Secret Wars is supposed to be the biggest Marvel Avengers movie of all time, then you have to start ramping it up right now. And what better way to do that than with the next Avengers film? Because if Avengers 5 has 60 plus characters and it's going to be just insanely huge, imagine what they're going to do with Avengers Secret Wars, with Robert Downey Jr. returning, with the old cast members returning, with different variants showing up, with very famous actors playing them, like perhaps we finally get that Tom Cruise Superior Iron Man showing up. But it seems like Avengers 5 is going to kind of set the tone moving forward with the true multiverse saga story. Basically, Avengers 5 is where it's going to start to go down. So we're going to have 60 plus characters, all of which are going to kind of get equal screen time, which, by the way, this movie should be long. If that is the case, it should be like a 3-hour movie. But I do really like this idea. Instead of just a new Avengers team coming together, that would be maybe Falcon, Hawkeye, maybe Kate Bishop as well, the Hulk, Miss Marvel, although I'm pretty sure Kate Bishop and Miss Marvel are doing the Young Avengers. But Spider-Man, the new Falcon, seems kind of lackluster, but that is kind of the team set up right now because we've heard that Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange aren't going to be there. Perhaps Wong could be a part of the team, but still that doesn't warrant a very, very huge movie. I do love all the characters, but let's admit they're not that huge. So rather than just assembling a new Avengers team of 6, 7, or 8 characters, we're actually going to assemble a massive Avengers team of 60 plus characters.
Assemble.
And like I said, the reason for that is most likely going to be so they can explore the multiverse and take on different members of Kang. At least that's what I assume is still going to happen. Deadline does state that the plot details are unknown, and following Jonathan Majors' exit from the MCU as Kang following his reckless assault conviction in December, it is unknown who the central villain would be, or if the film could potentially include multiple antagonists. Well, we've heard that there are actually going to be 2 villains in the film. One is going to appear in the beginning and is kind of going to bring, let's say, our new core Avengers team together. Now, I am talking about those 6, 7, 8 characters then have like a core Avengers group because we know that Sam Wilson is going to try and set up an Avengers team in Captain America Brave New World. So maybe like a grounded Avengers team, Captain America, Falcon, the Hulk, Spider-Man. They defeat a villain in the beginning, but then Kang comes out and they reveal kind of the true villain of the movie. And that's when all of the heroes have to come together. And I'm assuming Ant-Man is probably going to have a decent role since he's already fought Kang and knows just how powerful and strong he can be. Plus he knows all about time travel. So I'm assuming he's going to be a key character. But I do assume still that Kang is indeed going to be the main villain of the multiverse saga. I do believe there are going to be multiple Kangs in Avengers 5, which is why we're going to have so many different characters. But I still believe that Kang is going to be the villain. They're simply going to recast him. And honestly, that's what I believe they should do. They have already set up Kang to be the main villain. Just because things happen with Jonathan Majors doesn't mean that you have to scrap the character. They obviously fired him from the role, but you can keep the role. You can keep Kang. I mean, we're in the multiverse saga and they've established that variants don't have to look like each other. So just bring in a new variant of Kang the Conqueror. Some people were saying Doom, but I think it's really too early to have Doom be the main villain. We're already too deep into the multiverse saga. He won't have enough time. So I hope Marvel saves him for the next saga and we just get another variant of Kang or multiple variants of Kang who are the main villains of the multiverse saga, which means all of these characters, these 60 plus characters that are going to come together, will actually have to spread out throughout the multiverse and find and fight different variants of Kang the Conqueror, which is why I really hope they keep Kang because I think this is a truly excellent idea. And it gets me really, really excited to think that this is going to be the next Avengers film that we get for Avengers 5. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Would you like it if this is what happened? Would it excite you? Let us know in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all things in the MCU. We'll link our socials and giveaway details in the pinned comment down below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.